Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is LaDonna with Sampling of Memories is the name of my channel. And I really do just have a really quick update. I want to obviously welcome all of you who are joining me, and I do apologize that this is going to be a quick one. And then I also wanted to let you know that if you hear some odd noises, it's because, well, first of all, my house is silent for one thing, which is the first time in quite some time that it's been silent because my mother-in-law did move out last weekend, so I don't have the TV on all the time. But the real reason is my dog is sleeping behind me, so Tallulah is back there, and so she tends to snore and make noises, so sometimes she sounds like a little pig back there. So it's not me, it's my dog. I promise, it's not me. For those of you who may have watched Priscilla and on their FlossTube, you would have heard their announcement at the end of their 100th, can you believe that? 100 FlossTubes, and I'm like, I think this might be my 13th or 14th. I know, that's really sad. But anyway, I'm very happy for them and glad that they have hit that milestone, because that takes a lot of dedication to be able to do that every week. I mean, it takes a lot of time to do these, even though mine are sporadic and I do pretty quick ones. They still take a lot of time because you're editing, you're turning it off, starting back up again. One time I actually lost a whole video when I had finished in the editing process, so I learned to copy them. And that's very heartbreaking, let me tell you, because you're like, oh no, I gotta start all over again. So congratulations to them. And I am very happy that they are going to be joining me here in Virginia next April. So April of 2020. So I thought the planner was definitely appropriate. Really am kind of a little slow, because then I thought, when I saw 2020, Chelsea, I really thought it was referring to the astigmatism. Until Priscilla said that, oh, 2020, next year. So yeah, so that's been my life a little bit over the last couple weeks. It's been crazy busy, which is good. So anyway, so if you're here and you want to find out more about the retreat, that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about, and watch the video. But you will, I'm not going to put everything here because it would make it just too long. You will need to join the Facebook group that I set up, Love to Cross Stitch Retreat. So it is a closed group, so I will approve. There's some questions that you have to answer, so answer those questions, and I usually approve a bunch of people at one time because it's just easier for me. I do go in there several times a day right now, so it shouldn't take too long for you to be approved to join the group. You also ask that you read the comments. I have several announcements that I've posted, as well as the actual retreat document that's in the file section. So it has information about more details about where we're staying, what exactly is included, what some of the rules are going to be, because with everything we have to have some rules in place. I do suggest that you go through, read all of the postings, the comments, questions, because a lot of the questions that you may have may already be answered there. So registration, it's still going on, so you know, go ahead, register. I honestly haven't even looked yet to see where I'm at on the attendees, and then once I do the registrations and everything, everyone has a time period to respond confirming that they want their spot, and then they'll also have some time to send in the registration fee with information as to how to do that. I am using Google Forms for everyone to register. There will be a link in the file document, so you definitely want to find that if you're interested. Click on the link, it'll take you to the Google form, fill out the information. I am using that because I get the date and time stamp, and I'm going in the order that I receive them to be the fairest to everybody. That's that part of it. Let's see here. I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything, because it is a lot of information. The location is going to be at Airlie Conference Center, which is located in Warrenton, Virginia, which is part of the Northern Virginia area. We have a pretty big sprawl here. As DC continues to grow, it just keeps going further and further and further out. As more and more companies move in here, people start moving further out because it's commutable. So Warrenton is actually part of the Northern Virginia, Washington, DC metropolitan area. If you are someone who would be traveling from outside of the area, the airport that you would want to fly into is Dulles, D-U-L-L-E-S. The airport code is IAD. So I as an igloo, A as an apple, D as in dog. So, and the reason I stress that is because a lot of times it'll want to auto-populate when you're searching for flights for Dallas. Dallas is in Texas, which is a long way from here, and you would be very, very disappointed if you get to the airport and find out that you're going to Texas, not because Texas isn't a nice place to visit, but because that's not your intended destination. You don't want to end up in Dallas when you're trying to come to Dulles, so be mindful of that. You can also check out the fares for Washington. Washington does have an airport. Ronald Reagan, let me see, their code is DCA. So D as in dog, C as in cat, A as in alligator, going with the animal theme. That would be the code for excuse me, not Dulles, but for Washington. If you're someone flying in and you're going to rent a car or take a taxi or anything like that, they're both commutable. They just go down 66 to Warrenton is basically what they would do from DC. It's going to cost you a little bit more because it's more miles. So I would calculate all of that into, are you really saving or not, by going to Reagan versus Dulles, just because you may end up paying for what you may think you're saving, you may not, because it may cost quite a bit to go take a taxi or Uber or something like that from Reagan. The other thing too is part of having the Facebook, know other people, find out what time people are arriving, and maybe do some carpooling and sharing of the fare that it would cost to get out to Warrenton from wherever you come in at. Let's see here. So there is a registration fee, and the registration fee is for basically the cost of the retreat, putting it on. So there are, obviously Priscilla and Chelsea don't live in the Northern Virginia area, so we'll be flying them in. That's what the registration fee is for, as well as there'll be door prizes. There's going to be some gifts and everything like that for the attendees. To give you a little bit of background on my background as far as things like this, I am an HR professional, and part of being in HR is planning a lot of events. So usually you're planning a company picnic, you're planning, it could be a retirement party that you're planning for someone, it could be holiday parties. So I've had a lot of party planning through my life, which helps me obviously in doing this. And then I've also served as the president of the Loud and Sampler Guild, as well as their secretary. I've done 2 terms actually 3 terms as president, so which is 2 years at a time. So I did 4 years as president, then 3 years as president, and 2 years as secretary. Like I said, throughout my professional and volunteer life, I have spent a lot of time planning events. So I assure you that you will be getting your money's worth. That much I can guarantee you. It's a very nice venue, and it is a historic home. It was built in 1899 that they've converted into a conference center. There are sleeping accommodations in several buildings located on the property. They have beautiful grounds. They have a working farm, so a lot of the meals are going to be coming from what they have produced there at the farm. So all of their meat comes from their farm. So it's very popular here. It's farm to table, organic. So I think the meals will be absolutely wonderful. Everything that I've had as far as my interactions and everything with them has been wonderful. The facility is beautiful. The meeting room, depending on the size of the group, if we're large enough, the room that we would have would actually look out on their garden. So they have very large windows that let in a lot of light, which as a stitcher, we love to have a lot of light. But the added bonus is when you're looking out, you just see the grounds, and it is a very beautiful place. And I honestly, I realize this may not be a retreat for everyone, and that's okay, because I will probably be planning more, because we really don't have very many in our area, and we have a lot of folks who enjoy stitching and getting together and sharing their hobby and meeting other stitchers. I'm trying to think if there's anything else as far as that. Let's see here, the accommodations. So if you live within 40 miles of the conference center, so basically where Warrenton is, if I go around and you're 40 miles away, if I take your address and say from there to Airlie, you're 40 miles or less, then I do have a day rate that I was able to work out with them. And you would just need to let me know when you register that that's what you're interested in. And I have information as far as pricing and everything out in the Facebook group, so I don't want to, go. It's just easier for my perspective if you just, go there. The information is all available and posted, and then, like I said, a lot of the questions that you're going to have, somebody else has probably already asked, so that may help as well to get you the answers that you want faster than sending me a PM or something like that. Just because I'm not on my phone all the time. So the accommodations, if you are coming to the retreat, you must book a room unless you were within 40 miles of the conference center. So the rooms are all single occupancy. It is a conference center, so most people, when businesses are booking conferences, most of their employees are not sharing rooms. So that's why the rooms are set up the way they are. The bed configurations are a mixture, but as far as what the expectation is, it's single occupancy. Let's see here. It includes, the nightly rate includes your sleeping accommodations. It includes your meals. So it includes the dinner the day that you arrive, and then the following day it includes your breakfast and lunch. And then, so basically if you come in on Friday, you have Friday dinner. Then the next morning you have your breakfast and lunch, and then because we are going through until Sunday, you will have your dinner Sunday, and then your breakfast and lunch, your dinner on Saturday, and then your breakfast and lunch on Sunday. 3 meals, that's taken care of. Accommodation, the nightly rate also helps with the cost of the meeting room. Let's see here, and then it also includes, during the breaks, snacks will be available during the meeting room time, along with beverages. And the beverages are, water, coffee, tea, sodas. I'm not sure if it includes juice or not. It may. I don't recall seeing it there when I looked, and I don't recall her saying that. So I'm just saying it may. So it may not. The snacks as well that they put out for the breaks are all part of, they would be available to the folks attending, whether you're doing the day rate or you're staying over. So that is available. As far as, since they are single occupancy, that doesn't mean you're not able to say, Mary Jo and I want to share a room. That's not an option. Still going to be the same price. So and they don't even have, they don't have that many rooms configured to accommodate that. Spouses, though, can stay in the room with you for obvious reasons. You guys kind of spend a lot of time together anyway. And there's a day rate, a meal rate only for them. So if they're interested in eating the meals and everything with us, then I would need to know ahead of time. Or if your spouse isn't sure what they're really going to be doing when they get here, they can just say, I want to pay as I go. So they may not want to eat breakfast and lunch, and they may want to eat dinner with you. So then they could just pay for their dinner at that time. There are a lot of things for them to do if they're a history buff. We have several battlefields that they can visit. We have several historic locations they can visit. Warrenton is in commutable distance to Charlottesville. So if they want to go to Monticello, they could head down to Charlottesville. If they wanted to see a little bit more of DC, they can head into DC. So I think they're probably about an hour to DC from there. hour and a half maybe, depending on traffic. And then Charlottesville is about the same, just the other direction. So there are a lot of things to do in the area. There's, of course, wineries, so they could pursue that if they like to do that, or that could be something that you guys could arrange and do together. So, and as we get closer, I will be sharing more information about what's available nearby, what to expect, and to give you more of an idea of some of the, if there's anyone that wants to take in some of the historical and history that Virginia has, because we do have quite a bit since we go back pretty far now. I'll be sharing that, because I know when my husband and I we like to go check out the battlefields. I personally am a big Civil War buff, so I enjoy doing that, and we're just fortunate or unfortunate, how you look at it, since Virginia had since most of the fighting happened in Virginia, we pretty much have a battlefield anywhere you go in Virginia for the most part, so you don't have to go too far for that. And then let's see here, making sure I didn't leave anything out. All right, I think I covered everything as far as the retreat. I probably should let you know that Priscilla will be designing an exclusive chart for the retreat attendees. This is special for us. You will have pre-stitching that will need to be done, so that'll go out in January. That'll give you guys plenty of time to stitch the piece and have it ready to go for when you arrive at the retreat. So we just ask that you don't share any of the information. If you are inclined to take photos and want to share your work in progress or that you have finished, that would be shared in the secret group, and only retreat attendees have access to that group. So once once you've paid your registration fee and everything, I will be adding members to the group. If for some reason you're no longer able to go to the retreat, then you will be taken out of that group. You can still stay in the main Facebook group for the retreat information itself, so that you are made aware of any future events or anything like that that I may do. But for this, you'll have your own secret group that we'll be in, and just be conscious of that if you do share any information, that you are sharing it to the correct location. So if you're not sure, then I would recommend do not share it or post it, because if it shows up in the group about the information about the retreat, then yeah, that's not going to go well. I'm just telling you, because there's people that will still be in there that are not attending the retreat. So this is, and because you have to do the pre-stitching, that's why we can't really wait and surprise you when you get there, because what the workshop is going to be on is finishing the project itself, under the direction of Priscilla and Chelsea. So that's why you kind of need to have it done. So anyway, so that's the one. There's several things that I'll have to be really hard on you guys about, and I apologize ahead of time, but that's just the reality of it when you put on an event like this, because there are things that I'm going to be held responsible for, since I'm the one signing the contract with the hotel, and there's, unfortunately, we have to have rules. So it's not that I really want to, but at the same time I have to. So I just ask that you follow them, and if you have any concerns that you may not be able to, then maybe you don't want to, maybe this isn't the right retreat for you. So that's life. That's just life, I guess. I hate to be that way, but that's just the reality of it. Reminder that if you have any questions or anything, check out the Facebook group first. A lot of the questions have already come up, and you'll more than likely be able to find your answer there. At some point when I have time, I will go through them and do more of a frequently asked question that I can add to the files to make it a little bit easier for folks to find the information. But if you do a search in the group, you should be able to find you know, if you put a keyword in like accommodations or spouses or something like that, it should bring in all the posts that had any of those words included in it, which may be helpful. It may not, because it may bring in more than you bargained for. Just depends on how popular the topic was. All right, so I'm just looking through my notes real quick just to make sure that I covered everything that I needed to. There will be a wait list once again. So the registration fee is non-refundable. So the only way I would be able to refund it once you have registered and paid that is if we are able to backfill your slot, which is why the wait list is important, and which is why I'm encouraging people to still sign up for the wait list, because life happens and we can't always predict what's going to happen between now and April of 2020. So there will be people that will, for some reason, will not be able to attend, and those seats will be made available in the order of the wait list. And the wait list is going to be driven by the registration form when it was completed. So that's why that is important. And I'll work through the wait list and everything with the order as far as I'll post that. Once if we hit the number that we need, anyone over that will then be on the wait list, and that would be the first or second post that I would put out there for the wait list is the order that people are in. All right, so during my last FlossTube, I did a giveaway. So I have selected the winner, and if you remember, or if you didn't watch it, it was the enamel bucket that Hobby Lobby had. If you've watched any of the videos or are aware of the Chock-full series is releasing, I think it was shipped this week, the first one in the series. There's the piece that goes on the easel, and then there is a little piece that goes on the top of this. So my Hobby Lobby had a few, so I decided to pick them up. And so during my last FlossTube, this was what I had decided to do as a giveaway for those who left comments. And the question was, since I was sharing some of my haul that I picked up while I was at my guild when we did our stash sale, and shared some of the antique and vintage items that I had. I asked what did people like to collect and hunt for when they went to, you know, flea markets or stash sales or whatever the case may be. And so everyone shared their information, and we had a variety of things, but it was interesting because a lot of us do collect the same things, mainly sewing items or the thread cabinets, mason jars. I love mason jars, and a lot of you are kindred spirits there. I'm trying to think if there was anything that was a little like, oh, that's a little different. Nothing jumps out at me, and since I don't have all the comments in front of me, I can't do a quick scan, but there are quite a few there, so I would recommend going back if you like finding things or looking for new things. That would be a good thing to do, is to go back and take a look and see what other folks are collecting and what they may be interested in. And so out of the comments, the person who won the little carrier here is Trisha K. And that's all I have is Trisha K, who likes to collect Pyrex dishes, which I thought was interesting because a few years ago, I would do a flea market. So from, you know, things that I had found in auctions, estate sales, furniture, because I love to refinish furniture that I had refinished, and the Luckett's, which is located in Luckett's, Virginia. It's the Luckett's General Store, but everyone refers to it here as Luckett's. A pretty well known place for home decor and garden items. A lot of unique finds, and for a while they were doing a monthly flea market, and so I would set up at the flea market, and the person who was in the tent next to me was someone who she specialized in glassware, and she had some of the most amazing Pyrex sets of mixing bowls and dishes, and just really neat stuff. And she did a lot of going to Goodwill and estate sales and finding things, but everything she had looked like it was brand new. And she always had such a beautiful display because she had a U shape as far as the tables, and had everything stacked. And she would have, like the Tom and Jerry glasses, or the glasses that we used to get years ago from McDonald's. Trying to think some of the other neat things. Barware, she would get a lot of that. Punch bowls, those types of things. But her display was always beautiful because the colors, and she would group things together. So like during the 4th of July, she would have the more red, white, and blue. And I think she did like all of her red was on one table, her white was in the middle, and her blue was on the other side. And then she would have dishes that had maybe stars and stripes or something like that. But most of what she had was mid-century, which Pyrex was one of them. Those were a lot of ones that she had pink mixing bowls, which I fell in love with. So it was always fun to see what she had that was new, and how she had decorated everything and set everything up, because she used the dishes that were very seasonal. So it was kind of fun. And as Christmas got closer, she would put the Christmas dishes out. So it was just fun to see whatever she had. So I kind of had a little smile because it made me think of her right away. As soon as I saw the Pyrex, that was the first pop in my head that I had was of her. So once again, thanks so much for stopping by, and I apologize that this is probably a little bit more scattered than I normally am, but I just wanted to hop on here real fast, share some information about the retreat, and let you guys know where to go for the information to find out more, ask questions, because that will the main source of information for the retreat will be the Facebook group, because that I have to have an official location for people to know that what's in there is the information that they can rely on. And so that will be the location to go, is the Love to Cross Stitch Facebook group. Love to Cross Stitch Retreat Facebook group. Whew, that's a lot, So anyway, so until next time, hopefully I'll be able to do one of these in a couple more weeks. I will be going to StitchCon next week, so that'll be fun. So Tara, I look forward to seeing you. And if you are going to StitchCon and you see me, please stop and say hello. No matter how hurried or scared I look, please stop and say hello. I love to meet people, and I know there's going to be a lot of people there, and we'll feel like we're in a sea of people. So it's always good to see someone that you've had a connection with, or you feel like just even if it's through social media. It's still kind of nice, even though you haven't actually met in person yet. It's still kind of nice. Oh yes, I've seen you in the Facebook groups or whatever. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got, folks. Have a good one, and hope to see you again in a couple weeks.